definitely the mentality that I had. It was to succeed, I had to hustle and grind. I had to get up every day and live and breathe my mission and burn the candle at both ends. That was the only way I was going to succeed. But all I got from that was burnout. That's what I really want to have a talk about, is because we can have our cake and eat it too, you know? Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Libby Lee. Hi Beth, hi everybody joining and everybody catching us on the replay. Today is going to be a fun session, and today we're going to get real, Lita, aren't we? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and spending this time with us. You and I have had a lot of conversations in the background, particularly around this issue. We both can have that like workaholic tendency, particularly when we're really driven.
Just a little bit.
And I'm so grateful that I have met you in the community that we're all a part of with Joy Kingsborough in the Mindshift program. And you and I, with Helen Short, we're actually in the same group. And the more that you spoke, I was like, oh my gosh, she's just like me. And then I would share my stories and you're like, I can so resonate with that. So I know the reason why I wanted to share this with the group today is because I work with a lot of healers and light workers and coaches who are really driven by their purpose. And what happens when we are so drawn through that purpose is that we can get a little bit caught up. There is this really masculine energy of the times of old, the times that are ending, that is that masculine energy of the hustle and grind. To succeed, you have to, be up at 4 a.m. and doing your meditation and your cacao ceremonies and then work all day. And it's like this, you have to live and breathe your mission for you to ever succeed at it. And I got caught in that trap. I'm not blaming this man or this time, but when I was in the Tony Robbins circuit, that was definitely the mentality that I had. It was to succeed, I had to hustle and grind. I had to get up every day and live and breathe my mission and burn the candle at both ends. That was the only way I was going to succeed. But all I got from that was burnout. And then the whole recovery pattern from that. So that's what I really want to have a talk about, is because we can have our cake and eat it too. Yes. We are designed to live our mission in this life. So I would love to hear a little bit about your story, just around that imbalance that comes when we love our mission and we want to get there. How has that affected you in the past?
Oh my goodness. First of all, thank you for having me here. I just love hanging out with you all the time. And I love that we get to be in your community and talk about this, something that it's a topic that I don't want to approach it like, oh, I'm above all this. You can have it all. You can have the cake and eat it too. Like, look at me, like I got it all together. And, no, we're going to get really real here, because my story and my experiences, even recently, has been that of like the ego paradigm, the old thought system of separation pulls me back into you cannot have it all. You cannot have the cake and eat it too. And there's evidence all around us constantly to make us believe that that's not possible. So I do want to approach this in a very real, down-to-earth way, where it's like, let's talk about our stories. Let's talk about how we got here to even be able to have this discussion. And to really say that as we are transitioning out of that ego consciousness, and I know a few people are probably aware that this is happening, and we're tapping into unity consciousness. Is sacrifice part of unity consciousness? Is compromise part of unity consciousness? Is I can't have it all part of unity consciousness? Or is it you can have it all? You can have the cake. And my preference would be sugar-free, gluten-free, but but whatever cake it is that you want to have, what cake do you choose to have and eat it too? Is that something we can have in unity consciousness? And I believe yes. And I'm starting to see it in my life. And I am to a point where I can come here with you and talk about it, versus right before, when it's like, am I just being fake talking about this? Am I just gonna be here pretending like, oh, you know, my life is so great and I can have it all, and I got my business and the money and the success, and I got my husband and my family? And no, like, it hasn't been like that. So I just wanted to really normalize this discussion and say that we're going to really bring it to a way where people can relate and make it really real. So you asked me about my story. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible with it, because I want to just share with your community that my life has been the evidence of you cannot have it all, Lita. You cannot. And just early on, my parents divorced when I was 6 or 7. So, and I learned from that, for them to be happy, they can't be together, right? So again, it's like sense of sacrifice. You cannot have it all. If you want your parents happy and not arguing all the time, they have to be separate, which means you cannot have your family together. Moving on, when I was 13, I lost my dad to brain cancer. You cannot have it all. You can't have your daddy, right? Like big ingrained beliefs around sacrifice, around loss, around not having what I mostly love and want. Fast forward, when I was 19, got diagnosed with cancer, terminal cancer, was given 3 to 6 months to live. If you can hear my accent, I'm from Greece. So all that was happening back in Greece 20 years ago. I got diagnosed with cancer. I embarked on a journey to heal myself. Some money that my dad had left, I started to spend it on getting well. So here I was. I didn't have my dad, but I had some money. But then I wasn't well. I was really, my health was not doing well at all. But I had the money. Then I spent the money and I got well. So now I didn't have money, but I was well. Constantly this pattern, right, of you can be healthy and not have money. You can have money, not be well. And then the purpose that has been driving me, like you said so beautifully, my decision to heal 20 years ago was driven by this deep sense of purpose, that I am here to share a mission. Didn't know what, didn't know how or any of that, but that drove me to want to move to the US and study and pursue further my career in psychotherapy, psychology, neuroscience, and all the things. And that pattern continued with, you can't have it all. There's certain things you can have, there are certain things you can't have. Fast forward to becoming a business owner, and where I think a lot of your community can relate to is, I was such a perfectionist, such a hustle, work to the bone, really not giving myself any space to think of anything else, because I was so driven. And it was to help my clients, and I was working with clients that had a lot of trauma. So I was an empath, very, very much, I'm here for everybody else. My marriage, my family, my self-care, my body. Nope, didn't have time for that. So I lived it. I lived it to the point where 2018 was another huge wake-up call for me, where my body just was like, I couldn't use my arms anymore. I got so inflamed. I could not brush my hair, could not brush my teeth, could not text, could not. It got to a point where the universe was like, stop. This whole piece about sacrifice, this whole piece about being such a workaholic and believing that you can't have it all and it has to be done in a controlling way, we're done with that. And it did come through a deep surrender that I started shifting that and started tapping into what else is possible. Can I live my purpose? Can I help people? Can I do all the things that I love to do while loving my body, being healthy, playing tennis, being with my husband, having our family, doing all the things we love, traveling, and having a successful business? Is that possible? And it started becoming, over the last couple of years, more and more clear that it is possible. So I want to elaborate more on it, but I just wanted to give a little bit of a context that and recent experiences, even with, as you shift into becoming more of you and the people who don't want to be part of it anymore, right? Or the friendships that I've had for years that are shifting. So there's another piece of like, I move forward, I lose something, right? But how can we transmute all that is something that I would like to expand on today. How can we start looking at these things a little bit differently? Because I feel like unity consciousness is asking us to look at this a little bit differently. What do you think, Libby, about all this?
I love this conversation. I have so many thoughts and ideas flooding through my head that I can't actually piece them together one by one, which doesn't often happen. But everything that you've just spoken about, there was so much about the control and the judgment and alignment. And, you know, the judgment comes when we think because you're out playing tennis or because you're spending time with your husband that you're not actually on path to succeeding in your business. Whereas in reality, it is all a part of the same thing. And and because you're allowing yourself the time in those different areas is one of the reasons. Actually, it's not even allowing your time in those areas. It is because you are listening to the nudges to go and play tennis, and you're listening to the nudge to sit down and watch a movie with your husband, with me, because you're listening to the nudge, just take that trip with your family, quit your job, hubby get leave, pull the kids out of school, buy a caravan and go. Because we just listen to the nudges, no matter what it is. When we're listening, we are on path to succeeding and fulfilling our mission, because we can be us. You can be you.
You're such a perfect example of that, Libby, right? In how your business has shifted with your decision to follow your nudge and follow that calling, that this year I'm traveling. And it doesn't mean I have to sacrifice my business. It's just, it's shifting. And how in that shift that I've chosen, right? Because when we move out of the victim role, when we move out of the, this is like, it's happening and I'm just at the whim of it, versus I'm choosing to play tennis and to work and to have meetings and to run a summit and to do things that I'm busier than ever, and yet all of a sudden I have more time than to do more things. It's like, how is that even happening? How is this? It's not possible in the old paradigm. But you're such a good example of that, and you trusting in that nudge, right? and being like, I trust that my business is going to carry on and shift and expand, and look at us now collaborating, like all the beautiful things we have coming up. And it did come from that trust in something within us. So sorry, I had to jump in and add on
Yeah,
that.
you're right though, because I I would wake up most mornings and I had new ideas and things coming through that I wanted to share with the world. And then I would go to share them, and it would be like, no, I don't actually think I need to be sharing this right now. What do I, and so I would sit and listen. What do I really need to do? You need to go and swim with the kids. Okay, I'll go and swim with the kids. And so it felt like the old me and um, the, I guess you can say insecure, that ego part of me was thinking, you're delaying your business, you're delaying your success, you're delaying helping all of those people that you say you want to help. You're sacrificing that to go and swim with your kids, or to walk that gorge, do that hike, drive here, drive whatever. Whereas in reality, because I was following that nudge to do that first, I got more clarity. I could anchor in more ideas. I was more open. I was more in alignment for me to then help the people that I'm really wanting to help. So
Yes.
that's my biggest piece of advice for having your cake and eating it too, is just notice when you're judging or trying to control that situation.
Mhm.
And as long as you are listening to the whispers, even if it says, hey, go and lie down and have a nap,
Mhm.
then know that you are on task. Because I think in unity consciousness, that's what we're letting go of. We're letting go of that judgment and that
Mhm.
control of the only way to succeed is to do. Lying down and having a nap is the doing. That is a part of the how.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're mentioning that. And I have to say, that was so not me, Libby. I would not take a nap when my body was so drained. I could not even like move my body. I felt so heavy, and I would push through it, right? Because mind over matter. Like my mind was like, no, you got to keep going. Like you got all these things to do, and the body doesn't matter. But it's like what you said earlier, like this mentality that's very masculine, that's very, push through it, like don't give up, like keep going. But it does have this forcefulness to it that it's not what my body needed. And I
Mm.
think when we can bring gentleness in, right? And we can bring, what is the most gentle thing I can do right now for me? And if that's to take a nap because I'm listening to my body and I love myself enough to listen, then I will take that nap, and then inspirations will come, insights will come. I will have more clarity, I will have more energy, and whatever needs to come next will come because I took that time to even stare at the nothing, and just zone out for a little bit, or just allow myself to um, daydream, or just allow myself to just look at the plants and be with the birds. Um, that gentleness is something, I think, a conversation that's missing from a lot of different
Yes.
modalities. And I don't think we get into unity consciousness with forcing ourselves. I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to work.
And one thing I want to mention too is that you don't have to give up the action. You don't have to give that up at all. But when you're listening, you'll know when it's time to go. You will get that nudge of like, sister, jump on board. This is it. The doors are open. Let's go. Like it's go time. And it is fast and fun. And it is so in alignment that it's not draining. There's no
Yes.
efforting in doing that because you've listened to the nudges the whole way through. It's the whole divine timing cycle, that biorhythm that runs the whole universe. the gust of wind comes and it's like, let's go, baby. And it's carrying you exactly through what you need to fulfill that dream. But you've listened, you've rested, you've taken all of the other actions to get you to that point, and then it's go time. So there's no sacrificing of the action either, but you're taking action from such a different place because you have listened the whole way through, and you know that it is go time now. Now's action time, and it is 100% aligned. So therefore it's easy.
I love this so much because it's like once we allow our higher self to take over and guide us, things just happen so much more effortlessly with flow. It's like problems that were in front of us get resolved all of a sudden. Everything just, it's almost like we tune into, it's not almost, we do tune into different laws. And we are in the quantum field. We're using the universal laws, and our higher self takes over. We still take action, like you said. It doesn't mean I'm just going to be meditating all day. I actually get very, very busy, very active. I do the things that I need to be doing every day, but somebody else is driving, not the ego mind, not the control, not the guilt, because that's another piece, I think, for a lot of us, for me specifically too, is guilt has been driving my actions. Like, what am I, if I don't do this, I'll be guilty, right? So I might as well do it because I don't want to feel the guilt. But what if we move beyond that? What if it's not, what if we don't approach what I do based on what makes me feel less guilty? But what do I choose? What does my higher self want? And that's the nudges, that's the inspiration that comes in and says, I feel like, launching a summit for me, for example, right? So whatever it is for each person. And then it's like, okay, and that has to be every day, at least for me, right? Every day practicing that, because the ego just wants to come back. And the old patterns want to come back, and the workaholism, and the I can't do this, and the it's too much, and the overwhelm, and the guilt, and the I'm not spending enough time here, and I should be doing that, and I should be doing that, and there's all that, and it's never gonna work, overwhelm, anxiety. And then it's just a moment of decision. Do I need any of this? Thank you very much, ego. I hear you, I see you. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna play in this other way of living. If you wanna come, but if not, stay put. Because I'm not, that's the way I'm talking to my ego, at least.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it serves so much purpose, but we need to call it out sometimes. We need to, it needs to take the back seat instead of driving, like you're saying. Like, so amazing. So we are getting short on time. Before we wrap up, we will open up for questions. If you have any questions, let us know. If you're watching the replay and you have questions about this, just pop it in the comment and tag one of us, and we'll come back and share our insight. And I'd love to hear your stories too. Have you felt that you get into that workaholism mode and the sacrifice and the compromise mode, and you find it tricky to get back into flow? Because Lita, I know that you are amazing with your EFT tapping. So I was wondering if maybe we can come back, we can do a round 2, and you could actually share with us a way to simply shift. If we catch ourselves in that moment, because awareness is everything, if we catch ourselves, then we could do a simple tapping sequence just to help shift that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I would be honored to come back and we can walk through a tapping sequence. I'm just kind of tapping on some points right now, but I will come up with the script that feels really relevant to these discussions so people can use it anytime, any day, to clear this old pattern and then step into the new realm, the new paradigm that we're talking about here. So I would love that.
Amazing. So you have an amazing event, a 3-day summit coming up soon that I'll be helping support you in. And I've got the link here, so I'll share it in Zoom. I'll share it when I share this recording out as well in the replay. If anybody feels drawn to really tap into your purpose, Lita is doing some amazing teaching. You have keynote speakers coming in and supporting as well. So just thank you for the fact that you're listening to your nudges and you're creating such amazing platforms like this to help all of us, tap into that purpose. That's the fulfillment right there, helping us align. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Libby. And I know you and I started talking about this a while back. I shared with you my vision with this summit that's more like a retreat event. I don't know what to call it, but it's not just a summit, but I know I shared that with you a while back, and our visions aligned so beautifully. And we're like, okay, we're doing this. And so I feel really grateful that we're a month away. It's starting in a month.
Yes. Wow. Yes.
It's unbelievable. And I'd be honored to have your community join us there. In the link, they'll learn a lot about what the summit is about, the speakers, but also I'm happy to answer questions. And really, in our discussion today, how the summit will be also helpful is when we talk about purpose, what's the unification of purpose in all aspects of our lives? Not like what's my purpose with my business, but what's my purpose in all aspects of my life, so that I am in unity consciousness, doing what I love, but also experiencing a life that I love in all ways. So that's one of the things that, as I have started to integrate that in my life, I want to share it and pass it on. And I'm super honored that you're going to be they're part of the team. You're going to be sharing your wisdom, and a lot of other beautiful souls will be there as well. So excited. You're muted.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having this conversation. Let's pick it up with a round 2 and share that out as well. I think it's really needed now. Not only there's a lot of sacrifice and compromise coming in other areas of our life with the world events as well. So, staying in alignment is really key for everybody right now, whether you know what alignment is or not. So I look forward to round 2. We'll do that in a couple of weeks, hey? Maybe a fortnight's time. And I will share out the details, and we can continue, bring all of your questions, and I look forward to that. Thank you so much.
Elizabeth said, what a powerful conversation. Thank you for having me. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Beth.
Beth. Hello. And
amazing.
I'm glad you mentioned, Libby, about what's going on overall too, right? And having these conversations can be is so needed right now. So I agree with you.
It is so needed. Yeah. And my hope is that we just create a space where people can come and just, sit out of the noise just for a little minute and reconnect with themselves, and have people having the conversation of things that do align with them, that isn't all about that as well. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.